again, I gotta make another video from a position of love, brother to brother. And I'm talking about Dennis Sperling, and I'm not trying to disparage or take away from his page or his YouTube channel or many of the points that he makes, because he makes many points that are very valid, and he makes a lot of points that I think brothers should embrace. The fact of the matter is due to the internet, black men have substantially more information, especially via all these conversations that we've had over the last 10 years or so online, have substantially more information than brothers have ever had before. Okay? And unfortunately, somebody like Dennis is someone who ended up getting the information too late. Aside from the fact that, and my frustration with Christianity, and every time I bring up Christianity, I rage out, because, and I'm about to rage out in about 3 seconds. What the fuck is up with all these black Christians? Black Christians are always the ones that go out here and fuck up. It goes back to what Chris Hedges said about why people dive into religion and they operate through this magical Jesus, because basically they look at the world, they can't handle it. They cannot handle the realities of the world. And, it's like, trying to be realistic with people, drags them back into a world that almost destroyed them. When you look at any black church, when you look at black Christians, and you look up in the church, the vast majority of people sitting in that church have already fucked up. They've already fucked up. And sometimes it's not even their fault. Like, their parents fucked them up. You know what I mean? They got dealt a shitty hand. And I'm going to get into that in a minute about how, parents being selfish, operating and talking about, they want to live their life. They always do it at the expense of the kids. You only get one go around this motherfucker. One go around. That's why, like, when it comes to these women that are single moms and shit like that, I'm like, choosing the father of your child is probably the most important decision that you can make in life. And yet, everybody just goes out here all lackadaisically. Don't take it seriously. And the same goes for a man when it comes to the woman that you choose. It's the most important decision that you can make in your life. You don't get any do-overs. You don't, I'm just going to reach back into previous generations, completely ignoring, like, who the hell your children are going to be with if you're down there competing with them. I mean, the audacity. I mean, even he made a video talking about, it's not about the money, but then turns right around, older men can date younger women because of our money. I'm like, but I thought it was not about the money. I thought you can run shit on a bitch's dime. Like, what is this man saying? I gotta call out the contradictions. Because not only that makes us look bad. It makes black men look bad. Or the younger generation of black men look bad. Or you'll have, the women that jump up, you criticize black women, but you don't criticize black men when they're out of pocket. Dennis Sperling is out of pocket. It's out of pocket. There's no other way to describe it. Everything that he's talking about is no different than these black women who go out here as single moms and they want a do-over. I want to start over. I want a high-value man. I know I got 2 kids, but I want a high-value man. I feel I deserve, a high-value man. Right? Here, you should value my used womb and the bag of responsibility that I now carry around with me everywhere I go, because I got a bunch of children that I got to raise. And this is what Dennis Sperling is saying. And one of the things that, look, people don't put me on to, because people came in my comment section, and I guess it's public information, and he's admitted it himself on, his show, so I'm not putting his business out there. But I'm like, you got a kid out of wedlock by a Jamaican model? Come on, man. We up here criticizing black women about their poor choices and their poor. It wasn't like you were a child when that shit happened. That was after you divorced your first wife. Come on, man. How does that happen? How does that happen? How does that happen? How does a man who already brought 2 children into the world in wedlock go out there and then have a child out of wedlock? How does that happen? What is with the lack of discipline? And see, again, it's another reason why I don't fuck with a lot of you Christians. The black Christians be the number one individuals out here fucking up all the time. They're the number one people out here with lack of discipline, lack of sexual responsibility. They're the number one individuals out here talking about you can't plan kids and all. It's all about feeling. That's I can't with people. And then when people are educated and people are smart, like, it blows my mind when they rely on this religion bullshit. It's one thing to speak on religion because it makes you feel good. It's another thing to speak on religion because you're trying to utilize it as a tool to justify your bullshit. You want to do what you want to do, just say you want to do what you want to do. Don't sit up there and try to act like, oh, well, you know, God has a plan and all this other. This is not a case of solipsism. The world does not revolve around you. It's not about what the fuck you want. You got 3 children that you got to raise, Dennis. You got 3, all of them under the age of 18. And you talking about going out there and having more kids with a younger woman, a woman that's 25 or 20. And people are saying she's 20. You know, your fiance. You need to focus on raising your kids. That's what you need to do. Oh, but what are you saying? Oh, I should be alone. Don't we sound like black women now? You know what I'm saying? Once you have kids, you live for your kids. I mean, I want you to think about this, and this goes back to the whole situation. And Jamila Lemieux, she wrote an article about this years ago when she first found out that she was going to become a single mother, and her and the baby daddy that she was with didn't work out, and he went and he remarried. And you know, as classically happens, the single mom tries to compensate for the fact that the child recognizes that when they go to daddy's house, it's a complete household. They get to play with their half siblings. They're watching Disney movies together. Everybody's in their pajamas. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole household. A single parent home can't compete with a whole household. It's impossible. There's too much built-in, intrinsic, emotional, spiritual shit that goes on there in an intact household with mommy and daddy and the children all together that just simply is not covered in a single parent home. It's just not. And Dennis is talking about going out here and having, you know, another family with this 20-year-old, which again, I mean, I'm gonna get into the details of the problems that I see, you know, coming. I'm gonna play nigga-damas. Okay, the problems that I see coming with that, right? Just based off of the age gap and where, you know, his current, you know, sons are, his teenage boys. Okay, or I think at least one of them is in his teens. But it's like, okay, let's say Dennis goes out there and let me back up, because I'm gonna tell you, I know what happened. You know what I mean? Not that I got any details, but I'm saying I can use my powers of intuition. I can look out of my third eye, you know, and recognize it. And maybe Dennis can't recognize this because he's not melanated. I don't know. I mean, the melanin has everything to do with me being able to look out of my third eye, you know. Anyway, jokes aside, I'm saying, I can tell what happened. You know, watching the videos about co-parenting that Dennis has posted, and I saw those videos years ago. I was like, oh, okay. You know, but, you know, it's like, what happened is, see, Dennis is a byproduct, you know, because when he was in his prime, it was the 90s. Dennis is a byproduct of a lot of black men who went out here and they drank the Kool-Aid. They believed in the hype. He went and he got with a black woman that had the wrong orientation. I'm just guessing. She had the wrong orientation. She was on her own journey of being strong and independent and everything. And, you know, Dennis drank the Kool-Aid of thinking that he was with a power couple, or he was going to be in a situation and it was going to be a power couple, or some stupid ass idea like that. As I've always said, he who has the gold, she who has the gold has the power. So Dennis went off and, you know, he got with her, had 2 kids with her, and then realized, like, she ain't trying to get with the program. She want to do her own thing. Like, even in that video that she did, you know what I'm saying, as all first wives know, you know, when he gets paid, I get paid. Right? That's, first off, that should just be like, that should just be freaking, freaking toxic waste zone signs all around Dennis. Just again, as I said before, he got split households, not just 2 sets of households, not just 1 and 2. No, now he talking about setting up 3 different households. You got the Jamaican model that's probably got custody of the kid, right, by herself, right? So he got to pay money to her. Then he got to pay money to his first wife, right? If they don't have dual custody, he got to pay money to her. Then when it comes to the 20-year-old that he's about to fuck with, she's only getting 1/3 of the man that the first wife got, because all his resources are going out the door to take care of these other kids that he done had all around the goddamn planet. Is that fair to her? Well, that's for her to decide, right? But again, you know, it's unfortunate, but this is the ugly reality. He went out there, got with the strong, independent black woman, all that stuff, recognized that she ain't getting with the program. She got wrong orientation. This is one of the biggest issues that all these black women have out here. All these women on Kevin Samuel's show talking about they want a high value man and all this other stuff. It's all about what they feel they deserve, completely ignoring the fact that high value men are looking for cooperative women to get with their program. The woman is the finishing touches on a man's, cake, on what he has accomplished, what he has achieved. And a lot of black women have a problem with that. She is the finishing touches. This is why he's like, even on Dennis's show, he had some woman up there and they were talking about tattoos and shit like that. And, she felt some type of way about the whole tattoo thing. And I'm like, again, a woman not recognizing that the woman is the finishing touches on the man's cake. And since you have so many ambitious women out here who want to go out and be strong and independent and everything else, they literally think that they're adding a man to their program. They go out here, they deal with dusties, and then they think that they're going to be able to take the way that they maneuver with a dusty and apply it to a high value man. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And there's degrees to the shit. Mileage may vary. You can get somebody who, like Dennis, he's a lawyer, he's making money, but he bought into that idea, I'm suspecting, with his ex-wife that, hey, we can do this like power couple thing. And again, she wasn't trying to get with the program. It wasn't a matter of like, hey, babe, we doing this. And then, even in that video, the matriarchy is all in that video. Or at least her attitude about matriarchy is on that video. Because if you watch that video, what do you see? Dennis doesn't even speak in that video. He don't even say nothing in that video. It's just her talking about, as all first wives. I'm like, what, like as all first wives know? Like what the fuck is that? Just damn. And then when he gets paid, I get paid. That should tell any woman, like, again, it's the same reason why men don't want to deal with single mothers. It's why we don't want to deal with them. Because at the end of the day, you got all that financial shit that you got to deal with, with the children, whether you end up covering it or paying for it or having to negotiate or do whatever you got to do with the stepfather and all that other stuff. Why would a childless man want to deal with that? The other thing is getting into the age. Look, I don't know how old Dennis's boys are, but now, again, people are pointing out that this girl is 20 years old or somewhere around there, less than 25. What's going to happen is, it's like, okay, like, and let me back up a bit. One of the things that people miss, whether they want to use religion as a justification, all this Dennis, you irritate me with that religious bullshit. You irritate the fuck out of me with that shit. making videos talking about Kevin Samuels and God sent Kevin. I want to say shut the fuck up, but I don't want to direct that at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I can't stand that shit. You know what I'm saying? And especially it's coming from somebody who's already made some major mistakes. It's like the smart thing for you to do is raise your boys. That's the smart thing for you to do. And if you want to go out there, I'm not telling you to be alone. If you want to go out there, you want to date another woman and companionship and all this other stuff, go and do that. But don't have no more kids. Raise the ones that you got. Or link up with a woman who already has kids and she's a single mom. Again, you can't shoot down single moms because you a single father, basically. You can't shoot that down. You and her are in the same boat. And it's like people, they don't want to recognize this. And like I said, older men, you always end up with a situation. My uncle did the same thing. And he's dead now. Okay? Because he went and had a baby in his 60s. And now his 20-something-year-old daughter is fatherless. Because he's dead. Because he decided, I'm going to have another baby in my twilight years. Or was trying to keep the woman that he was with, because no woman who doesn't have any children is going to forego having children just to be with your old ass. I see it all the time. That's why you're like, how the hell did this happen? How does some 60-year-old man end up fathering a child? And it's because no young woman is going to stay with an old man and not have children. Even when it comes down to the money, they want to have children. They want to, okay, when you're going to die, I'm going to get your money, but we're going to have some children because they only have a small window to have children. But Dennis is like, it's like you're going to, like this whole, I'm going to have another set of children. I mean, you already got the child from the Jamaican broad, that, again, I never seen that child in the video. So I'm assuming that you don't have custody of that child. Okay, so that child's already growing up in a household that even your two boys didn't even witness. And then you talking about doing it over again because you want to be able to operate and function as the man that you want to be and a real patriarch and everything because you got with the ex-wife who had the wrong orientation. And so, in other words, you're going to have two sets of children. Let's say you do it right with the 20-year-old. Let's say you do it right, foundation, she gets with the program, all that stuff. You're going to have two sets of children who are going to witness you raise children on a foundation that they weren't raised under, because they weren't raised under an intact two-parent home. They didn't go through their whole childhood with mommy and daddy living in the same house, but they got to sit there and witness that shit from the third sibling. Again, going back to Jamila Lemieux and the article that she wrote talking about how her daughter was talking about how she wanted to be back over daddy's house. And that's not the only time I've heard that. I heard that time and time again, these single mothers. Okay, sometimes it's online, but other times it's offline. And I'm not going to sit here and share, whose stories these are. But I'm saying, I have come across enough examples of women who stupidly think that their single mothered home can compete with the two-parent home if their ex-husband or ex goes off and remarries. And then they in a situation where that child wants to be in the two-parent home with their other siblings. This is the whole problem with having all these split households and half siblings and all that. Don't even get me started on the legacies and generational wealth and the women fighting over, well, my child deserves this and my child deserves that and how messy that gets. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is what we're competing against, white supremacy or the supremacy of any other group. You don't hear other groups talking this myth. Not that it doesn't go on, but I mean, they most certainly don't put it on Front Street. It's frowned upon. They don't advocate for it. They don't make YouTube videos about it. You know what I'm saying? On top of the fact that even if they are, talking about this, because you see white MGTOWs talking about, dating younger women and shit like that, or going to Ukraine and getting a bitch from Kiev or something like that. I'm like, but white men can talk about that. Look at their community. Are black men really in a position to talk about all this? Oh, we're going to jump around and have multiple sets of households and all this other shit. Are we really in a position to talk about that or talk like that? I could see if we were. I could see if the black community looked like Wakanda and then we were up here talking this stupid shit. I could see that. That could be like, yeah, it's not ideal, but, hey, we got a nice little buffer over here. We got a nice little cushion over here. There's still companies and businesses and economic opportunities in the community. So what if I'm spreading my seed all over the place? Right, which again, you can't maintain any of that by spreading your seed all over the place. It simply won't work. But what was I going to say? There was something else I was going to add to this whole split. Oh, let's get into the scandalous part. As I said in the previous video, Dennis's children are closer in age to his fiance than his fiance is to him. So let's just add 15 years, right? Let's say, let's say that the boy, like his son is 15 years old. The girl is 20 years old. Okay, that's 5 years. Okay, so if we add another 15 years, she's going to be 35. Dennis, who's, 46, right? He'll be, what is that? 61, right? So he'll be 61. And his sons will be, 30, right? So his son will be 30 or late 20s, something like that, right? Now, obviously at 30, he should probably be out the house, but I'm saying, for whatever reason, obviously the son's going to be coming over, visiting his dad and everything else. And you're going to have a light-skinned 20-year-old, mind you, Dennis's first son's a dark skin, a brown skin. You know what I mean? And here you got a woman who is now 35. Now, I don't know, maybe she's going to have kids at that point, but she's now 35. She has no blood relation to Dennis's sons. She's now 35, and Dennis might be, his sexual libido may have fallen off. He's not going to have the sex drive that he had when he was 25. Bottom line. And I've seen this scenario happen time and time again. And see, nobody talks about the scandalous shit, but we know the scandalous shit goes on in the community. People fucking with their step parents and stuff like that. And I don't wish that on anybody. But I'm saying you got to look at it for what it is when you're talking the type of age gap that Dennis is talking about. Where now she's 35. Now, see, at 20, she's immortal. You know what I mean? She gonna live forever. Her beauty fleeting is the last thing that's on her mind. At 35, women really start thinking about, whether they still got it like that. They start entering the Aisha Curry phase. Okay? Aisha Curry, married to a multi-millionaire, want to know whether she still got it. Like, you see, she done lost all the weight and everything. You know what I mean? Talking about because she never got to go out there and, as the white boys say, ride the cock carousel. She never got to go out there and go through her bad boy phase. You see Steph Curry up there with the cornrows now. Now he got cornrows. She's trying to turn him into a bad boy. Fucking retarded shit. But, she's out there, just trying to get all the attention. Wants niggas to slide in her DMs, like as though they actually think that they have a chance when her husband is like the fucking best of the best of the best of the best. Right? And I'm saying this is what women go through at 35. Especially with the way that the internet treats women at 30. There she hit the wall. It's the wall, the wall, the wall, the wall, the wall, the Great Wall of China, the wall. Donald Trump said build a wall. You know what I mean? Just wall, 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 wall. She hit the wall. Right? That's all they say. So she's really going to be looking at her beauty and questioning her beauty and saying to herself, oh, do I still got it and everything else like that. And if Dennis's sons, if they go out there and they get all cock strong, put some muscle mass on or whatever, and they brown skin and she light skin, you know how that shit goes. God knows if Dennis's sons is going to be colorist. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, you playing with fire, dude. You playing with straight fire, straight fuego. since you like to speak of that Spanish. You playing with fuego right now. And I'm just like, brother, what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, it just, plan on having kids and I want to do it over again. Like, no, you don't get any do-overs, man. You got 3 kids to raise. 3. I don't know what that noise is. You hear that? Anyway, I'm just saying. I'm like, you got 3 kids to raise, man. You need to focus on that. If you really as serious as you say you are about the black community and all this, you need to do that. You stop trying to spill your midlife crisis on other people, man. Stop trying to tell these young men, you should get married at 30 and you should get married at 40. First off, for most guys in the 2020, unfortunately, due to the economy and everything else, most guys, if they do get themselves established as fast as possible, since it's not the 1940s where you could just graduate high school and walk into General Motors and get full medical and dental and whatnot, since all that's dead, since American manufacturing is dead, it probably will take a good 10 years from 20 to 30 before guys are actually established enough to even be desirable enough for most women to even smell their fragrance and want to get with them, let alone marry them. They'll be 30 years old before that even happens. Okay, so that's going to happen naturally regardless. But to sit there and suggest, you need to wait until you're 40. No, they don't need to wait until they're 40. Because unlike you, they have more information than you had in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the 90s. I was very aware and cognizant in what was going on in the 90s. So it's like, yeah, we didn't have this information in the 90s. In the 90s, it was all, black men are dating white women and Sally Jesse Raphael and Ricky Lake and freaking, Phil Donahue and Juan Valdez. What was his name? Not Juan Valdez. What's the dude's name? Geraldo. You had Geraldo, Oprah, Queen Latifah, you had all these shows and pretty much they were all the same. Ain't no black men, they with white women, black men, I need me a BMW. I want a black man working. All our niggas is in jail. Us black women, we going to the moon and back. We so strong and independent. We out here killing it. Right. That was all what was going on in the 90s. It was just black men ain't shit. Black women were awesome. And brothers didn't really have much of a pushback on the shit. Like if it would, it was like, these brothers are just intimidated by a woman's success. That shit started in the 90s. It started in the 90s. He just intimidated by a woman's success. Now I want you to think about where we are now with all this. Every other black female YouTube channel is all about hypergamy. Now it's all about hypergamy. I had somebody leave a comment say, they're glad I reposted the old Blog Talk Radios that I was on, from a decade ago, because that's what they were on. It was all about, we don't do nothing but build. If a man can build a better house than I can, I will eat my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was retarded. It was retarded. You couldn't tell these women shit. You know what I mean? Women calling in. I gotta repost that video, my house, where that woman called in and she was like, "You are just blasting me off." You know what I mean? There's nothing that a woman can't do. You are just completely overlooking the divine female principle, all that shit, all that divine female principle. This is what they were talking 10 years ago. Now they up there, we're just little princesses and we want to be taken care of and niggas just ain't on our level and we just been dainty feminine black women sitting around patiently waiting for our black, Idris Elba in shining armor to come through and rescue. Bullshit, bitch. Bullshit. Black women had no issue pulling the fucking dick out. And quiet as it's kept, brothers had no issue with black women pulling the fucking dick out. Sitting there and co-signing shit. Every voice you want to hear online, from Charlemagne the God to freaking what's his name? What the fucking bald light skin? What's his name? I can't think of what his name is. What's his name with the glasses? What the fuck is his name? Oh shit, I done forgot his damn name. It's coming to me, and it's going. You know who I'm talking about. Why am I going blank? Hold on a second. I can't remember his name. That shit just completely eludes me. That's so retarded right now. But anyway, you know what I mean? Everybody online just talking about how black women are, you know, they're queens, they're gods. Don't talk about her. You know, Eric Michael Dyson, you know, he was up there talking that same bullshit, you know, don't talk about our goddesses, our queens, and black men are just the bane of black people's existence, and blah 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 blah, and black women are just out here doing it and holding it down, and yada yada yada. I mean, they were talking all this shit. Everything was wrong with black men. Nothing was wrong with black women. And truth be told, you know, a lot of this shit it wasn't challenged until I came online. Quiet as it's kept. Motherfuckers was real. I mean, there was no audience for that shit. There was no base for that shit. I wanted to get to the bottom of the shit. I didn't just come online just to, you know, bash black women. I came online because I wanted to figure out what the fuck was going on. What is with all this? I thought that I was told, go to school, get an education, go to college, and when I come out, it's going to be Kerry Washingtons wrapped around the block. Didn't happen. You know, all the women up there bitching about being single moms and everything else like that. I'm like, yo, you wasn't checking for the motherfuckers in school. Y'all was out here having babies with street niggas and shit. I watched you do it. I watched you do it. I'm watching you freaking play some lame out or play me out and then go into, you know, the fucking the room and close the door. And the next thing you know, you end up being pregnant. And a couple years later, you a single mother writing crazy shit on Facebook talking about niggas ain't shit. I watched you choose the niggas that ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And then the obesity shit that we talk about, that the fact you can't throw a rock without hitting a single mother, the whole weave thing, and then, you know, women bitching about colorism and self-hate, and black men are self-hating and colorist and everything else, but then they want to look like and imitate non-black women, and they still arguing, you know, those same it's a protective hairstyle. How's it a protective hairstyle when you claim you protecting some shit that nobody ever sees? You wear that wig 99.99999% of the time. How is it? What are you protecting? Some shit that nobody ever sees? Like, admit the fact is that fucking white supremacy has fucking won, and the black man is defeated, and the black man doesn't own, operate, and control anything, and, you know, you yourself have internalized ideas of self-hatred, and you don't like your hair, and you go up there and you want your hair to look like white women's hair because you feel that's the only way that you can win, and then you go back and blame it on brothers and shit, even though you feel the same way, and you sit up there and you like all the exoticals on Instagram and all that other shit. You know what I mean? This is what went on. Y'all saw that video of that mother with the 20-year-old that had a baby by a Dusty. She's living in her mom's house, being disrespectful. Her mom was saying she was spending all day on this. It's on World Star. Her mom was saying that she was, you know, just sitting there all day, didn't have a job and all this other stuff. And I mean, they got into a physical fight, broke her phone and everything. But in the video, no black men around, she called her daughter a nappy-headed bitch or some shit like that. Nappy-headed something. And I was like, oh. I was like, and ain't not a black man around. So yet again, where does that shit come from? You know, it doesn't come from just one specific gender. It comes from all of this collective self-hate that's brought about by, you know, black people being, you know, associated with poverty and hating themselves and not having anything positive to reinforce, you know, a positive identity and all that other shit. But I'm just saying, like, it's like, you know, these are the things that never got called out in the fucking 90s. Black women were perfect and wonderful, and black men were just the bane of human existence. Okay. And I think Dennis got caught up in that. You know what I mean? Like, and this is, and truth be told, you know, it's like the religious shit, the religious card, the religiosity and all that other stuff. I see it happen all the time. People who operate in religion, people who operate in white Jesus and Christianity, people who operate in a magical world make piss poor decisions. It is what it is. The church is full of black people who've made massive and huge errors, and they gotta stay magical in order to try to move forward. And the stupid thing is, the more they become entrenched in the religion, the more they make stupid decisions. It's like it's untethered from reality. You can't tell people this shit. Like, people, they want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear what the reality is, which may deter them from doing what they already want to do. And it's the part that pisses me off about all these black Christians. If you want to do what you want to do, just go out there and fucking do it. Don't sit there and try to talk about, Christianity, the Bible, and the Lord, and Leviticus, and Corinthians, and shut up. Shut up. This is how black Christians get themselves further jammed up in the hole by no matter what happens, they land on jail, and they're like, no, I did not land on jail. I will continue to go around the board and collect $200. I will pass go and collect $200. No, you will not pass go and collect $200. You landed on jail. Go to jail. But this is what's done. So a combination of the period of time when Dennis was in his prime, and the fact that he's so religious with all this white Jesus stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I totally see why you fucked up and got mixed up with the wrong people. Oh, I totally see. Because, again, when you see certain things, you red flags pop up, just like these black women. Red flags pop up, you ignore them. You ignore them. You say a little prayer. You turn around and say, the Lord shall find a way. You operate in solipsism. The world revolves around you. All this shit is going to be done for you because you're special. And then you go out there and you make these decisions, and you just decide to move forward. And you just completely ignore the fact that God is not going to make other people do what you want them to do just so you're satisfied and you're happy. You got to be able to recognize, and this goes out to everybody listening to this, you got to be able to recognize when somebody is so fucked up that you got to walk away. You got to recognize when somebody who is somebody who is what do you want to call it? Not what you want them to be, isn't going to be what you want them to be. And you and I both know somebody who walked away from somebody who wasn't what they wanted them to be. So, I mean, that's evidence right there. But you got to figure that out. You got to figure that shit out before you go off and not just have one child, but 2 children, and then have one out of wedlock. Like, I hate saying it, but it's like, okay, what makes you different from any of these other single mothers online? Seriously speaking, at the end of the day, you're a male version of a lot of these black single mothers online. There's the women that call in Kevin's show, but yet somehow you think because you're a man, you get a pass on the shit. Like somehow, I got a penis and I got money, so therefore I get a pass on the shit. You know what I'm saying? This goes right into why you have black women who will say that they when they bring up the point about, well, I don't want to be with a man with money because men with money do fucked up shit. Like, you're an example of that. See, when they have money, they just go out here and just do whatever they want to do, and they just gonna go out here and just sleep with how many women they want to sleep with and leave their first wives and this that. Again, reinforces the shit that they say when they bring up that point. We supposed to have, as black men, we supposed to have way more fucking discipline than that. Way more discipline than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, seriously. It's like that scene from a Gladiator. Cap always reference it. You know what I mean? Like where the guy, where he was like, give me a sword, and then the I think it was who was it? Marcus Aurelius was like, hold your swords, or was it with the general or something like that? Like, hold your swords. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, yeah, you got to act the same way. Hold your motherfucking sperm, man. You got to hold that shit. Man, I cannot advocate for any black man going up here and giving brothers advice who's talking about having 3 sets of kids. 3 sets. I'm not going to let that go down without saying anything about it, especially with the way that people think I'm the, the Pied Piper and the originator of all these conversations and what. I got to speak on that. And I'm not trying to, I mean, hell, Dennis got more viewers than I got. You know what I'm saying? Because people, I'm shadow banned, people don't like and subscribe and all that other bullshit. I've been kicked off of YouTube multiple times for speaking the truth. But, be it that, I've been around so long and heard so many of these conversations, and you get these newcomers that come on and I'm like, look, been there, done that, covered that. We already talked about this. This is why this doesn't work. I've been looking at the data for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like we already got the numbers on it. You got to bring it down to 12 amps. Apollo 13 reference for those newcomers who don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm sure the people who follow me all the time know exactly what I'm talking about. Failure is not an option. I'm just being real. I'm like, nah, I can't co-sign that, man. Starting 3 sets of kids and going back and getting with a 20-year-old that's closer to the same age as your eldest son. Nah, man. Nah. Again, if you're going to do it, I'm saying do it. But don't be up there proselytizing and promoting that shit. That shit looks dumb. It looks dumb. Do what you do. And yeah, somebody might say something about it. Somebody might be in their feelings about it. You know what I mean? But I'm not out here policing, dudes' dicks and everything else. If a young woman wants to go out there and she wants to fuck, she's grown. That's on her. But anyway, I gotta answer this phone call. That's all I gotta say. That's my video. SWP out. Again, like I said, I'm just saying this from a position of love, man. We gotta give brothers the full story, and we gotta give them the right information. Not this shit where people get so consumed with what they want to do that they start acting like their truth is the truth. Anyway, that's my video. SWP out.